Now, the first thing you want to do is to open your ThinkorSwim application and log in. And you also have the option to choose and toggle between live or paper money. For this demonstration, let's use paper money. Log in. And you'll be redirected to your ThinkorSwim page. So let's get started. So part number one, let's talk about the account info of this ThinkorSwim platform. Right in here, you can see your net liquidating value, stock buying power, option buying power, and cash and sweep. Click on this gadget here, you can customize it to your liking. For myself, I like to have this current set of stuff, namely net liquidating value, stock buying power, option buying power, cash and sweep, day trades, etc. If you want to remove, you can always double click, right? And if you want to add them again, you can just search them up here, double click. And if you want to rearrange, you can always click and drag. Okay. Now, once that is done, let me explain very briefly what those means. So net liquidity, right, is the actual value of your account, which means that if you were to liquidate all your stocks and all your option contracts, what is the amount that you have? And this will be the single source of truth in terms of the absolute amount of money you have in your account if you were to cash it all out. Option buying power right here basically just means the amount that you have to do options, right? And this is something that I taught in the beginner class, right? OBP, they call it. Now, stock buying power refers to the amount of money you can spend on stocks. And if you spend beyond your cash, it will be tapping on and into your margin automatically. So just remember that the general rule of thumb is to only spend within your cash and sweep vehicle, not your stock buying power. Which brings me to my next point. The cash and sweep is the amount of cash you have in your account which you can deploy without spending a single penny on margin. So let's say you have an account $10,000, right? And then you have $6,000 in cash and sweep. This means that $4,000 is already locked up in either your stocks or options, and you have $6,000 left of cash to deploy. The final thing to take note of will be the day trades left. So if you have not customized your account info like me, then you likely see the gadget, or rather the day trades left option there. And likely you'll see the number to be 3. Now, this is important because when you just start off your account, and if your account is less than $25,000, right, you'll be applicable to what I call the PDT rule, pattern day trader. So what this means is, within the day, when you buy and sell, you're only allowed to do it 3 times per week, right? Whereas if your account is more than 25,000 US dollars, you can buy and sell within the day more than 3 times per week. So that's just one thing to take note of when you just started investing or doing options trading. All right, let's move on to section number 2. How do you buy or sell shares? To do so, just head on to the trade tab right here, click, right, and type in any ticker that you want. For this case, we will look at AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. To buy shares, all you have to do is look at the ask price, and to sell away shares, just look at the bid price. If you want to buy shares, just left click. You'll see an order entry coming up right here. If you want to sell shares, just left click on the bid price. And again, you'll see the same order entry, but right now it's a sell. Also, if you want to view more details about the stock, you can always click on this small little arrow right here. You look at the P ratio, dividend, if it's a dividend stock, the 52-week highs and 52-week lows, and number of shares in the market, etc. Right? So let's say you want to buy 100 shares of AMD, right? Left click on the ask price, right? So you see stock, buy. Now instead of buying 10 shares, I want to buy 100 shares, for example. You can always change it right here in the quantity. And of course, I can edit the price. If I want it to be slightly lower at 137 instead of 137.22, just change, enter, and then click confirm and send. There will always be an order confirmation dialog which tells you the details of the trade. Now, ThinkorSwim is nice because to buy or sell shares, right, you actually incur 0 commissions. So that's beautiful. Click send, and it will appear in your monitor tab right here as a working order. And once the working order has been successful, it will transpose or be moved to your current position statement as an active order. Now the vice versa is true. Click on the trade tab. Right now, if you want to short a stock, which means you want to sell shares that you actually don't even own, or simply sell away existing shares that you actually hold, you can click on the bid price, left click, right, and sell away the number of shares that you want to execute accordingly. Now the key part to remember is the ask is always the buy and the bid is always the sell. Okay. Now alternatively, you can always right click and choose buy or sell, and the order will automatically update it for you. So this is what I mean. Right click here and then you can click buy or sell. Okay. Lastly, if you want to customize a bit of your order entry, you can always head on to the gear icon here in the top right corner. Go to application settings and under order defaults, click on it, and you can adjust the, for example, quantity of orders. Instead of 10 shares, I want to buy 100 shares each time, right? And I can click apply. And let's say if I were to click again on the ask price, you can see now it's 100 shares instead of the original 10 shares. Part number 3, how do you buy or sell options? Head on to the trade tab. Right here, you'll see different sections. Underlying, trade grid, option chain, today's option statistics, time in sales, and product depth. So what you want to do is click on the option chain. Okay, so right now you'll see yellow dates, right? So yellow dates are expirations for each of the option contracts, right? They are the weeklies, and which means that they'll expire on the Friday of each week. So you can choose the expiration that you want, right? You want one that's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or even 1 or 2 years. You can just choose the options that you want based on the days to expiry. So let's say we were to click on one that's 1 month out. So in the center, you can choose the number of strikes you want to see. By default, you'll see, I think, only 4 or 6. So this is how you toggle to see more. Click on this drop down box in the center of the screen and choose all. The calls on the left and the puts are all on the right. Similarly to stocks, if you want to buy an option, we look at the ask price. And if you want to sell an option, we look at the bid price. Now let's assume we want to buy a call option, right, for AMD expiring in 35 days, which is represented by this small bracket here. And let's say you want to choose a strike price of, let's say, 145. So just head on to the ask column and left click on the price that you want. Now, this will open the order entry, right? So you see you want to buy a call option, you can adjust the quantity of contracts right here. The symbol is fixed, expiration date, strike price, the option type is a call option, and the price. The price you can always change as well, depending on your risk management. You can also change the order type to be a market order, limit order, stop or stop limit, etc. Usually I'll choose a limit order. In terms of the day or good till cancelled, right, you can also select based on your own preferences. Once that is done and decided, click on confirm and send. Again, similar to stocks, it will open a order confirmation dialog whereby you can look at all the max profit, max loss, so everything is already calculated for you. Another thing about ThinkorSwim is its low commission structure for options. As you can see now, it's only 65 cents to do a option trade, whereas for other brokerage, it's a lot more expensive. So once you're ready, click send. And again, similarly to stocks, it will appear in your monitor tab right here. One option, one call option right here for AMD. That is a working order. One common question that gets asked quite a bit is, what do all these letters or alphabet represent, and are they important? In short, they're not important to us because they are just exchange codes that tells us where that price is currently located. Is it in the CBOE or the NYSE, the New York Stock Exchange, etc. It's not something that we should be too concerned about. Alright, great. Now let's move on to how to customize the layout of our option chain. I like to show important parameters such as my delta, theta, gamma. Vega is optional, right? And I like to show open interest and my bid and ask price. How you can also customize your layout is head on to this layout button right here. Quite small, so keep a lookout for it. Left click, customize. And of course, you can double click to remove, similarly to the previous example that I shared. And if you want to add, just search the column names that you want and add those in. Similarly, if you want to rearrange, just drag. Very simple. Click OK and you're good to go. Now for those who want to learn how to buy a spread, this is how you do it. There are two main ways to do it. Now the first way is to hold Control key on your keyboard to add additional legs. For example, I want to buy a strike price of 145 call option. I left click on 6.1 here, and then I hold Control, and let's say I buy a 155 strike sell call. Click on the 335, and you can see right at the bottom it shows a vertical, which means it's a full call spread, whereby I buy one and sell one option at the same time simultaneously. Right. Again, you can edit the number of quantities if you want, change the price, and in fact you can even change the strike prices here, right, depending on your needs. Click confirm and send, and voila, it will appear on your monitor tab as a working order. The second method is to head on to the strike price that you want, right click, buy, go to vertical, and you can see now that in the order entry it has already automatically chosen a spread for you. Take note, for this automatic way you have to change the second leg to the price that you want. Let's say you want a 155, just choose and select accordingly. And again, the rest are the same. You can change the price, change the order type, etc. Click confirm and send, and it will also appear right in your monitor tab. The next topic, let's talk about options, IV rank, and IV percentile. Head on back to your trade tab, minimize the option chain, and look for today's option statistics. Left click, and right here you're able to see your IV percentile, which in ThinkorSwim is actually your IV rank. They have mislabeled it and they never corrected it. You can also view the number of calls and puts done for the day that is traded, the sizzle index, your call and put sizzle index, as well as your put to call ratio. So this gives you a high level understanding of the number of calls and put options that are being bought or sold for that particular day, hence giving us a sensing of whether the market is anticipating a bullish or bearish direction. Let's now talk about how to add studies and build your charts. Head on to the chart tab, look for the test tube looking icon on the top right hand corner, click on it, click edit studies, and it will open up a box that shows you all the different technical indicators that you can add. So as you can see now, there's the moving average 9, 20, and 50, the Bollinger Bands, MACD, RSI, etc. So what you can do is, when you first customize your charts, you won't be able to see all these. So let me just remove them and show you. Find simple moving average, double click 3 times because you want to add 3. And then each you want to customize it to be 9. Okay, 9, I want it to be red. And then I want the moving average 20. I want it to be green, or rather blue. Choose the colors. And the moving average 50, I want it to be changed from 9 to 50, and I want it to be green. Okay, also want to add the Bollinger Bands. Double click, pretty straightforward, and click apply. And right now it will appear in your charts, and then click OK. You can do the same for your MACD and RSI. Get back to the same thing, studies, edit studies, and of course, just find MACD, right? Double click, and RSI, double click as well. You can find it here. And then once it's added, right, you can just drag accordingly to where you want to fill it. Click apply and then click OK. How to duplicate your studies into other charts. On the top right hand corner of the grid icon, you can set up to have 2 or more views. In fact, even 3 or 4 views if you want. So let's just try 2. Right, so if you notice, we put in the same ticker symbol, AMD. Right, you notice that the right hand side of the chart, they do not have the studies that you added on the left hand side previously. So what you can do is you can configure and save your studies and then apply it to your new studies. So this is how we do it. Okay, first let's go back to one view. Head on to studies, right, and then save your study set as, let's say today we have 15th of January 2022. Save. So what you can do now, head on to the same grid icon, Type in your ticker symbol, and right now you want to go to studies, load study set, the one that we just created, which is January 2022. Click, and voila, it's been loaded. Everything, it's based on your previous settings that you have configured. So I highly recommend this if for those who want to analyze different charts at the same time, because it will save you a lot of time to load and reload your studies. Okay, now let's talk about adjusting your chart appearance. Head on to this gear icon right here. Under appearance, you can choose whether you want to fill up or fill down your candles. Right, so for myself, I prefer to fill them up because it's just easier to read and analyze from my own view. Click apply and click OK. You can also change the time frame. Head on to this button here just beside the gear icon. Click on it and you can change to weekly views, 1 day, 1 minute, or even 1 year, 1 day. And if you want to customize the time range, hit to customize and add your own time frame. Let's say you want to view in 3 years, 1 day. That's also doable, right? Click add and you can customize it to your preferences. But from my experience, the default ones are actually good enough. Now to zoom in or zoom out of the screen, you can hold the left click button and drag, and that will zoom in the charts, right? Or you can head on to the bottom right hand corner. You can find the magnifying glasses, just zoom out, right? Or zoom in according to what you want. And there's the scroll here to scroll back and scroll forward. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. Alternatively, right, you can hold control, right, and scroll your mouse to zoom in. But then you have to scroll at the bottom bar to just view the candlesticks. Okay. And for those who just recently set up your new account, I think you realize that you don't have a lot of blank space on the right, and it makes reading the candlesticks a little bit trickier and a little bit harder and more restrictive. So what you can do to create this additional white space towards the right, head on to the gear icon, head on to the time axis, right, and find this expansion area. You can choose to add 50 or 100 bars to the right, no problem. So let's say you add 50, right, just click apply and click OK. And then you should be able to see some space here so that it's just easier on the eyes. For those of you who are interested to learn how to draw your own technical analysis or trend lines, this would be the best and most efficient way to do it. Click on the scroller of your mouse and then select from the range of drawing tools. Let's say I want to draw a trend line, right? Just left click once and left click another time to draw that line. So let's say I want to draw a channel, I can always do this, right, etc. Draw a resistance, left click one time, left click another time. Okay, and then to edit the appearance of your drawing, just right click, edit properties, and then you can change. Let's say I want the resistance to be orange, I want the style to be a dotted line, I want the width to be thicker. You can play around here. Click OK, and then you can see it changed.